Hello, and welcome to July's Tween DIY video. This month we are going to be making felt animal plushies to go along with our theme of tails and tails this summer. So we're going to be making some felt animals that are a little plushy that you can cuddle with and read to all summer long. I'll go through what is in your kit and then I'll show you how to make it. The kits you can pick up in the lobby of the library. They are free. You can go ahead and pick one up while supplies last. All right, let's take a look inside. So our kits are stapled together so nothing falls out. One of the first things that you'll see is your embroidery floss. You'll also have some fluff for your plushie. This is what'll make it nice and soft. You'll have felt. Then you'll also have 2 sheets of paper. So on one sheet will be your templates for your animals, and on the other sheet will be your instructions. So on one side of your instructions, it has how to make the felt plushie, and then on the other side, it has some more details on how specifically to do the blanket stitch that we're going to use to sew it up. And be sure to notice on your felt that you will also have a needle on your felt. So we put it there so it wouldn't roll around or get lost in your bag, or you wouldn't poke yourself with it, but be sure to notice that pinned to the corner of your felt. Now that you have all of your supplies from your kit, the one more thing that you'll probably need are scissors so you can cut out your templates and your felt. So go ahead and grab those and then we will get started. So we need, we have our thread. Now we need to thread our needle. So you're going to take one end and put it through the eye of your needle. Alright, so we got it through our needle. So now you're going to put your needle in the middle of your thread. So you have 2 ends of your thread together, the needle is going to be in the very center. So at the end of your thread, you're going to make a knot. And this will make sure the thread won't pull through when we're doing our sewing. Alright, you see we have our knot there. So we've knotted our thread on one end, and then we have our needle on the other end. I think it's time for us to do some sewing. What about you? Okay, so we have our needle and thread ready to go. So we're going to take our 2 felt pieces, lay them one on top of the other. And this is where we're going to use our blanket stitch in order to sew our felt together. Let me change the camera angle so you can get a better view. This is the point where you will turn your instruction sheet over so it's the side that tells you how to do the blanket stitch. So keep that to the side handy. I know I'll be looking at it while I do mine. So start from sending your needle from the back. And it should be done about 1/4 of the way of an inch from the edge. Make sure you go through both pieces of felt. Be careful not to pinch yourself or poke yourself. So pull it through. All the way until you get to your knot, like so. Okay, so we have our anchored stitch. Now we're going to do our first real stitch. So we're going to take our needle and go over about 1/4 of an inch and push our needle through. And then go ahead and pull your thread through. Okay, so it should look something like that. Then, similarly to what we did before, you're going to take your needle and go back through the same hole again, coming out exact same spot. So now, similarly again to what we did before, you're going to thread your needle through the loop that we just made. Make sure you get under all of the strands. So don't pull it too tight, so you can see what it's going to look like on the front. So you're just going to keep going that way around. So let's do at least one more slowly together. So again, go over a little bit from your stitch, poke your needle through. Oops, starting to get my template. So it's okay if you're a bit clumsy. I certainly am with my thread. I'm always trying to keep it from getting tangled. I am not an expert sewer, but I thought this would be a fun project for us to do together. So again, it's okay if you've never done anything like this before, because I definitely haven't. So we've done our first one. Again, go back through the hole, the exact same spot. We're going to pull it through. And once we've gone through twice, we're going to take our needle and go back through the loop we just made, making sure to get under all of the thread and pull it through that way. And again, you don't have to pull very tight. So that's what our third stitch should look like. So I want you to keep on going all the way around your animal. Keep in mind that when you go around the corners, your stitches may look a little uneven, and that's okay. Mine certainly look a little different. We're just going to keep going. So if your stitches get a little uneven, or if you are having trouble, or the back looks a little odd, that's okay. This is just for fun, and we're all learning together. So my giraffe's head definitely looks a little bit different than I thought it might with the stitches, but that's okay, because it's holding it together, and that's really what the stitches are there for. And sometimes it gets a little tricky to pull it through. That's because we didn't separate our embroidery thread. If you wanted to, you could pull it apart and have 3 strands or 2 strands, but we're doing it this way just because it's a little easier to see and it cuts out 1 step. So how are you all doing at this point? I'm almost halfway. Are you all still doing well? How are your animals looking? Are you all kind of getting the hang of it by now? How's yours coming along? Now by this point, your felt might be a little misaligned like mine was there, but that's okay. You can adjust your stitches and just keep going. Again, it doesn't have to be the prettiest or the most perfect or the most even. As long as you're having fun, that's what I care most about. I've never done this before, so we're all learning together. Hopefully it's getting a little easier for you by this point in the process when we're so close to being done. My giraffe's legs keep getting tangled in the thread. So, you remember I said this was going to be a plushie, right? So before we completely sew it all up, we need to add some fluff. So go ahead and pull some apart. And you're going to take it and squish it. Take your opening and go ahead and squish it into your plushie. So you can see I kind of messed up here on my stitch. I should have made this one a little bit smaller because I had a tear in my fabric. But you know, that's okay. It still looks good from the front. It's still going to stay together. I'm going to keep going. And you can add in your fluff a little bit earlier if you want to make sure you can get it all the way up here. I think my hands are a little bit too big. I'm not able to get it all the way there. Maybe you will have more luck than I did. So now you're ready to tie a knot to be finished. So go ahead and tie a knot right there on the end. That way your thread doesn't pull through. So you can see my knot. It kind of makes a little tail, doesn't it? Do you think we should give him a little tail at the end? I'll go ahead and tie my knot one more time just to be sure. Alright, I got my 2 knots, just to be sure. So, where mine ended up, it makes an excellent tail, but of course you can trim it so that way yours doesn't have a tail, depending on your animal and where you started. I hope you enjoyed this tween DIY. Be sure to check back for more activities. Have a great day, everybody. Bye!